All right. So yesterday we talked about SOHCAHTOA. What did I need? What sides did I need if I was looking at sine?
The two that make the other side not touch.
Opposite and hypotenuse. So is SOH. You need your opposite and hypotenuse side. If I was looking at cosine, I need adjacent and hypotenuse. And what about tangent, TOA?
Opposite and adjacent.
Fantastic. So today, you're not just going to set up the fraction. We're actually going to have a missing piece, and we're going to solve for it. Okay, so before we do anything, I need you to get out your calculator. I need you to hit the mode button. Mode. Pretty sure it's mode.
I'm in beast mode. I'm in savage mode.
Okay, so when you get to the mode screen, stop talking.
He tried to roast on the man. He gotta come back. It's against the law.
What?
When you get into mode, I believe it's like the fourth space down, you'll see radian and degree. Is it the third one down? You need to make sure that degree is highlighted. If it is not, I need you to scroll down, scroll over to degree, and hit enter. So it highlights that instead of radians. This is the biggest problem that you will have on your final, because before you take your final, I clear out every calculator. That is state mandated. I have to do it. Your calculator automatically goes into radian mode. When I do that, when we do SOHCAHTOA, you need degree. So final exam day, when you get your calculator, the first thing I want you to do is change that to degree. Right then and there. Don't start anything until you do that.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Well, never mind, because you said just do it.
Just do it.
Oh.
Just do it at the beginning. It won't mess up anything else that you're doing. You won't mess with radians until you get to like Math 3 and pre-cal.
Oh,
okay.
How do you know that it's a SOHCAHTOA?
Huh?
How do you know if it's a SOHCAHTOA?
We're going to do some and you're going to see what they look like.
All right.
All right. Duh. The one says duh. So, the first one was sine. So, it's SOH. So the way we set this up, it is the sine of your angle, whatever angle it is. If it's a 45-degree angle, a 27-degree angle, whatever it is, that is going to equal your opposite side divided by your hypotenuse. So, if you open the flap, we're going to do an example. So, the first thing I need you to do is draw yourself a right triangle on the left-hand side. Because remember, SOHCAHTOA only works with right triangles.
I need your stapler.
Look at that triangle. What happened to it?
Listen, you leave my artistic abilities alone. I am not Miss Thompson. I do not teach art. That's good.
I think she's
Okay, so we're going to make this degree down here 41 degrees. That is 41. We're going to make this X, and we're going to make this 5.6 yards. Okay, so as soon as you see problems like this, the first thing I want you to do is circle your reference angle. What angle am I using? Well, it's the only one we know, 41. That is my reference angle. Now, I want you to look at the sides that we have. What sides do we have? What is 5.6?
The
opposite.
The X is the hypotenuse.
Good. So we have opposite and hypotenuse. So the way we set this up, we're going to be able to find how long your hypotenuse is. And the way we do this is we do the sine, because we have opposite and hypotenuse. That tells me sine. the sine of my angle, which is 41 degrees. That equals, and you said it was OH, which means your O goes on top, so 5.6, and my H goes on the bottom, so X. And now we're going to cross multiply and solve. So,
what would you put there? There's like if it's just a number. Nothing on that side.
Saying, what if the X was a number? What would you put there?
the number that would be there.
No, he's like, what if there's no number?
Like, what if there's not an X in the arrow, which is blank?
I'm confused.
You would not be able to do that. They cannot give you a problem like that. You need to know at least two sides and an angle, whether it be a number or variable. Okay. So let's say they didn't give you this, but they gave you something down here instead. That just gives you a new, it's not sine anymore. Then it would be tangent. Okay. But they will have to give you two sides, whether it be number or variable, and an angle. Okay. So we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to put this over 1. So when I cross multiply, please pay attention. When you do this, this is X times the sine of 41. Whatever you're multiplying against, sine, cosine, or tangent, please put that out front. Okay. So whether it be an X or a number, you're going to put it out front. Then we're going to multiply across the other diagonal. 1 times 5.6 is 5.6. Okay, my goal is to get X by itself. So if I have X times the sine of 41, how do I get rid of the sine of 41? We divide. Divided by the sine of 41. So this cancels, and I'm left with X equals. So now that you have it in degrees, you're literally going to type in 5.6. Okay, 5.6. And right next to your X squared button, you see SIN. That is your sine button. So you would type in sine, or I'm sorry, we didn't do the divide. Sorry, 5.6 divided by. I forgot the divide sign there. Divided by. Then put your sine. 41, close your parentheses, and hit enter.
8.5, 35, 8.17.
8.5 is good enough. 8.5 is your answer.
Yards. Right?
Okay? Yes, this one would be in yards because I actually gave you yards. Okay? And that's all there is to it. So you need to figure out what trig function you're going to use, set it up, and solve. Okay? If you go down to the second flap, your second one is ka. So ka toa. Ka 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 ka.
What was that?
We don't know. So this time, you're going to need the adjacent and the hypotenuse side. And it's going to look like the cosine of the angle. Again, your angle is going to be an actual number this time because we're solving for a side. Equals. A comes before H. So your adjacent goes on top and your hypotenuse goes on the bottom.
She got to look in the notes.
I just want to make sure I put the right triangle in. Okay, so if you open this one up, we're going to draw our triangle the other way this time. Why not? I can draw it upside down for all I care. I'm going to make this angle up here my reference angle now, so that's 68. This is going to be 6.8, and this side's going to be X. So again, the first thing you want to do, circle that reference angle. Okay? That way you know what angle you're labeling your sides off of. Bless you. So, if I have 68, what side That is your adjacent side. That is your A. What is 6.8? Hypotenuse. So when you label your sides and you see A and H, that automatically tells you cosine. Again, it's the cosine of your angle, which we know is 68, equals A over H. So this time X goes in top, 6.8 goes in the bottom. Again, put this over 1 and cross multiply. So when I cross multiply this time, I get 6.8 times the cosine of 68 equals, when I cross multiply the other way, I get X. So this time the X is already by itself. So you literally just need to type in what you see on that left-hand side. 6.8 times cosine is right next to sine. 68 and close your parentheses.
2.5. What?
They are super excited.
Did you say we annoying?
Yes. Who said that?
Me.
You girl.
Christian stupid.
I mean, it is Christian. Rip on Christian Day.
That's facts.
That's only because we love you.
They love you.
You're not supposed to lie to somebody you love.
You know.
Okay, the last one. Which one haven't we talked about? Tangent. So we're going to look at TOA. And again, the tangent of the angle equals your opposite over your adjacent, TOA. That gives you the exact order that it needs to go in. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Not math class, it's adjacent. In English class, it's adjective. Deja, what's so exciting on the floor? Hey.
Where her life's going?
The floor?
God.
That's
7 and 9.2.
I don't mean anything.
Okay. Okay. Here's my triangle this time. This is 67. This is X, and this is 9.2.
How did you draw that?
Guys, we're down to about 20 minutes. We got to get through these notes because you have homework.
They should make the last day of school an early release day.
It is.
The last day of school, you technically don't have to come if you make your final exam.
Say less.
I know, but I'm just saying. Oh,
We all know you're relative.
gotta get real, kid. Gotta get real.
Okay, so again, circle your reference angle. Label your sides. What is 9.2? Opposite. What is X? Adjacent. So opposite and adjacent tells me tangent of my angle, which is 67. Remember, it's O over A. It's TOA. So 9.2 goes on top. X goes on bottom. Put this over 1 and cross multiply. So we get X times the tangent of 67 equals 9.2. X is not by itself this time. I'm going to have to divide by the tangent of 67. Christian, stop. Who was that? CJ? Sorry. It sounded like it was coming from farther back this way.
was.
CJ, stop.
What I do?
Singing.
It
So 9.2 divided by the tangent of 67 will give you the length of that adjacent side. 3.9.
I should have said, it's not me.
Yeah.
Ew. And we have more notes.
It goes in on one.
We've got more examples. That's it, like 5 examples.
But still.
Okay. You are going to glue this in on page 128. Okay? Either put it off to the left-hand side or the right-hand side of the page, because I want to fill in and give you the steps that we just took to do each and every one of these, so you have it to reference.
You wouldn't?
No, look, I'm gonna make look.
Okay, conversations need to stop.
I'm going to the Smith house for half day.
Come to class prepared, please. Okay. So, the steps again, so you have them written out in words, what we just got done doing. Circle your reference angle. Okay.
How many pages are we going to use?
Circle your reference angle. Step number 2, label your sides.
Oh, yeah, I'm right.
Okay, so you're labeling this as adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse. Step 3, choose your trig ratio.
I'm going to use 10.
Okay, and again, you've got your options of sine, cosine, or tangent. Step 4, set up your proportion. Step 5, cross multiply and solve. Okay, so those were all of the steps that we just took to solve any one of those problems. It doesn't matter whether it's sine, cosine, or tangent. They are all the same steps.
Candy cane.
Pearls.
We're going to jump to the page that says finding a side length next, and then we'll do the little. Yeah, 129, then the other one will go in on 130. Okay, so we're going to jump here. So in this picture, 73 is my reference angle. So I circle it. We now need to pick what sides do I have. Okay, so Grace says X is my adjacent side and 34 is my hypotenuse. So if I have A and H, what am I using? Ka, which tells me cosine. Cosine of my angle. It's ka, C-A-H. So what goes on top? The X. Fantastic. A comes before H, so X goes on top, and 34 goes on the bottom. Again, put this over 1 and cross multiply. So you get 34 times the cosine of 73 equals X. Is X already by itself? Yes. Plug it in and get me a number.
Good job.
Okay. Moving on to the second one. 18 is my reference angle now. Label my sides. What is 11? Opposite and hypotenuse. So we're using what? Sine. You have O and H. SOHCAHTOA. O and H means we use the sine of my angle. It's so. So what goes on the top? 11 over X. Good. So when I cross multiply this time, I get X times the sine of 18 equals 11. I need to divide on this one. So X equals whatever the 11 divided by the sine of 18 is. 35.6. Yes, make sure you're rounding properly. Because they might give you 35.5 on your test and 35.6 just to see whether you're actually rounding or not. So please be careful with that.
It will tell you if you're supposed to round or not. Right?
It'll tell you where to round to.
Yeah.
But still, if you don't pay attention to the number that comes after it is a 5 or not, and you don't actually round properly, they could give you the non-rounded and the rounded version as answer choices. So you have to be careful. Oh. So my last one, we've got 57 as a reference angle. What is X and what is 13? This is tangent. X is adjacent. 13 is the opposite. So we've got tangent of 57. What goes on top this time? 13 over X. It's TOA. Put this over 1. When I cross multiply, X times the tangent of 57 equals 13. So I need to divide. Don't skip ahead, please. You're going to get everybody else confused. Tangent of 57. So I need to divide this time. When I divide, we get what? 4? 8.4. Okay. Hold off on gluing that in. Let's get through these other 3 and we'll glue them both in at the same time. Okay. So we've got this last one to do here. 36 is my reference angle here. Label my sides. We've got 8 and X. Okay. Hypotenuse and opposite. So we're using sine. Sine of 36 equals.
That's a single.
X over 8. Good. When I cross multiply, we get 8 times the sine of 36 equals X. There's no dividing this time. X is already by itself.
This is that type of math to give a person legs here.
You said what? 4.7?
Yep.
Good. Okay. If I go down to the one on the left, 50 is my reference angle. I've got X and 5.
So are you always gonna get decimals?
Not necessarily. Okay. So this time we're using tangent. We've got O and A. So the tangent of my angle, which is 50, equals x over 5. When I cross multiply, I get 5 times the tangent of 50 equals x. There's no dividing this time either. So x equals 5.9. Mr. Wright is on the roll over here. On a roll. The last one, 70 is my reference angle. I've got 7.2 and x. The other one's what? That's your opposite. Good. I've got opposite and hypotenuse. So what do we got this time? Sine. Sine of 70. This time, though, 7.2 goes on top. So when I cross multiply, I get x times the sine of 70 equals 7.2. So this time I'm going to have to divide. So x equals 7.7. Okay. Good. Are there any questions? Okay. The one we finished before glues on 129. This one glues in on 130.
Okay.